A new year rising, a new beginning. Lift your head up, turn yourself around, the world is spinning. Feel the magic of a new day. Open your heart to a fresh start, send your fears away. You've made mistakes, you feel it. You got what it takes, believe it. Any wrong can be made right, just forgive it, you need not fight. Shana Tova Umetuka, it's Rosh Hashanah. Shana na 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 Tova Umetuka, dip your apple in the honey, it's Rosh Hashanah. So many new hopes waiting to find you. Open your eyes, the dreams you prize are all around you. The smiles are hiding, no use in guessing. Make up your mind, go out and find life's simple blessing. This is your time, you feel it, how sweet it is, believe it. Any wrong can be made right, just forgive, you need not fight. Shana Tova, it's Rosh Hashanah. Shana na 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 Tova, Tuka, dip your apple in the honey on Rosh Hashanah. Shana na 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 Tova, Tuka, hear the sounds of jubilation. This Rosh Hashanah. Yehi Ratzon Sheniye Lerosh Lo Zana. Sweet in life for those around us with joy and love. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu. Hear our prayer, O Lord, the sound. Inscribe us in the book of life. Shana na 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 Tova, Tuka, dip your apple in the honey on Rosh Hashanah. Shana na 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 Tova, Tuka, hear the sounds of jubilation. It's Rosh Hashanah. Give us life, Lord, and sustain us. Oh, deliver us to salvation. Give us life, Lord, and sustain us. Oh, deliver us to salvation. On Rosh Hashanah,
Make your loved ones smile.
it's Rosh Hashanah.
Open your hearts to one another
It's Rosh Hashanah.
and give life anew.
It's Rosh Hashanah.
Good morning. How's everybody this morning? My name is Chuck Bauer, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome to you all. Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please join us at our website at uufe.org and join us after the service for coffee hour on that end of the building in the gathering place. Also, if you need hearing support, please go to the sound desk back here in the corner for help. Thank you. I have some announcements for today. This is the first Sunday of the month, so we have to remember to pick up chairs after the service for floor cleaning in here this week. We have also changed the locks on the Learning Center, so Reverend Dan has his privacy. The old keys will no longer work. Please return them by placing them in the basket marked Old Keys on Ivy Island. Thank you. Access to the current master keys will be limited. If you haven't signed up for next Saturday, please join us anyway at 9 a.m. at the CVS on Bristol and Johnson Streets. for our County Road 9 cleanup. Bring gloves if you wish and a strong back, and I know Steve will have safety vests for us there, right, Steve? 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Pickup of items in the blessing bags will be in 2 weeks, October 20th. Distribution will be Friday, October 25th on the plaza downtown at 11 a.m. You are invited to stop by and see how this operation works. Last minute items that we need are on individual lists that you can pick up on Ivy Island. Thank you all in advance for your support of this project. This is a special invitation for all of you, and please ask your friends to come along to next Sunday's service. Rich Meyer will be sharing all you ever wanted to know about the Potawatomi Indians. The sanctuary will be draped with 5 huge, wonderful canvas photographs with Potawatomi members in their native dress. There might be another surprise or two also. Watch for further details, but mark Wednesday, November 13th on your calendar if you would be interested in joining members of the Clark Lake congregation for a feasters gathering of our 2 fellowships at a Coldwater, Michigan restaurant that's halfway in between. One final announcement, chime tree dedication. You are all cordially invited to the dedication ceremony of the chime tree in Millrace Park at 410 West Plymouth Avenue in Goshen on Friday, July 11th. Is that right?
It's October.
October? It says July 11th. I realized, nope, that is not right.
I wrote it last night. I should have.
Okay. It's Friday, October 11th at 1 p.m., so that's coming up this Friday. This is a 200-plus-year-old white oak with 5 wind chimes tuned to the major pentatonic scale. Lori Tweedale and Mike Puro will be dedicating this in the memory of their deceased daughter-in-law. P.S. As of Sunday morning, Mike and Lori still await final confirmation from the park department on this specific date and time. So if you plan to come, confirm with Mike or Lori later this week that it's actually going to happen on October 11th. Thank you.
Today we hold the complexity of this October 6th service as it lands during the High Holy Days in the Jewish calendar, and it marks the anniversary of October 7th and the beginning of the horrific attacks in Gaza. Although it's important that the High Holy Days are not conflated with the anniversary of October 7th, I know this moment is one that holds a great deal of anger and grief for many. I want to lift up the fact that for a moment I considered not doing this service about a major Jewish holiday given the tensions surrounding Israel's attacks in Gaza, which now extends into Lebanon. I thought about doing something else entirely. However, after giving it some thought, I decided that this conflict does not diminish the history, the theology, and the faith of the Jewish people. So let us not forget the humanity and the wisdom of our Jewish siblings. And in the words of Presbyterian minister Reverend Drew Patton, let us side with the people. He writes, if ever they ask you, which side are you on, tell them gently and plainly, I side with the people, with the precious ones, all the integral, the soft, and the fierce, irreplaceable, the beloved, if only by God and trees, who were born, who breathe, and survive. Say, I side with those who keep watch beneath the bright screaming arc of bombs, with those who hide in dark doorways, or who through the moonlight flee, with those who stay and fight, and with those who kept up all night. Who kept up all night by hunger and grief and terror and rage, by desperate, unruly hope, who are good and green at the root, who are more than the worst that they've done, who do their best to love and still pass on the hurt in themselves that they hate. But what when they take sides against each other, the people, against even themselves? Side with whatever is human in them, what is fragile and feeling and flesh. Side with the truth of our stories. Side with the fact of our pain. Side with defiant insistence on freedom. Side there again and again. Side there today and tomorrow. Side there the rest of your life. Side there together until we belong, each one to every other. And if they ask you, which side are you on? Say, it doesn't work like that. Tell them you side with the people and abide there where the people are at. Now let us enter worship together.
The chalice lighting today is On the Brink of a New Year by Lois Van Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention. And now if you will join me in speaking our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. Now I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing our first hymn, which is going to be a bit of an adventure because it is a Hebrew hymn, Hina Matov, and Reverend Dan is going to speak the Hebrew words so that we can sing a verse if we'd like to try in Hebrew and then sing it again in English. Thank you.
So the words are fairly simple. If you want to try to repeat after me. I've heard Hine both pronounced Hine and Hina, but we'll try Hine today. So Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Ahim Gam Yahad. So Hine matav umanayim shevet ahim gam yahad. And then the next part is Hine matav shevet ahim gam yahad. Perfect. And the way Lizzie's playing it, there's no repeats. So she's going to play it through one time by herself. Then we'll sing the one time through the Hebrew, and then one time through the English. Okay?
She does, as it's written, she does go back to this line and ends at the female.
Right. Okay, here we go.
Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year, which starts in just a couple days. I invited two of the most Jewish people I know, Noe Jacobson and David Block. Noe's a teacher, and David is a rabbi, and they're also Maccabees.
I'll tell a tale.
We're going to talk about some of the traditional foods and traditional things we do for the Jewish New Year.
That sounds fun.
I think it's gonna be great.
It's going to be great. What I thought we would do is just go through kind of the ritual foods that we eat and talk very briefly about why we eat them. So the first thing that is a ritual food to eat is a date, which is called in Hebrew tamarim. It says that we eat dates because it's related to a word that means to end, that there be an end to bad things in our life.
It's a very old tradition. You might say we're dating ourselves.
We dated ourselves by eating dates.
Oh man, haven't been on a date in years.
You're married.
Happily married.
These dates are so sweet. Like I hope my New Year will be. Second food that we eat, which is a ritual food, I didn't bother to cook them. Small beans. They look
They
like
are the black-eyed peas.
they look like eyes. And
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
in here, the blessing that you say with these small beans is that our merits shall increase, and that God or the universe, or however you choose to interpret that, should hearten us.
I would say I'm excited, but I've been there, done that.
The third food we're going to talk about are leeks. Okay, why do we eat leeks? Because it says that the word for leek is, again, here's Hebrew for you, karsi, karati, karti. How would people in Israel pronounce this word?
Karti.
Karati. The name for leek is karati, which is related to the word
Correct.
karet, which means to cut. And we are wishing that everything bad in our lives be cut off. So that's why we eat leeks.
That's one leak I don't want to stop. Because leaks when things
Okay, the fourth food we're going to talk about are beets.
Yo, it's Rosh Hashanah.
Oh my, here we go.
Say
The word for beets is related to the word selek, to depart. We hope that all evil things depart from our lives this year. The fifth food that we're going to talk about is a gourd. Whoa.
oh my gourd.
We eat a gourd because a gourd is called in Hebrew, ready? Kore, kara, kara, kiru. Okay.
Nailed it.
How do you say it?
We didn't learn this in rabbinical school. It wasn't like how do you pronounce a gourd in Aramaic.
I clearly invited the right people to this Rosh Hashanah Seder. The word for gourd is related to the word kara, to rip.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's right.
And also related to the word for announcing. So it says that all evil that might be going on in our lives should be ripped apart, and our merits should be announced to the whole world. Next food we're going to talk about is a pomegranate. We eat pomegranates for the new year because we hope that our life will be filled with good deeds, like a pomegranate is filled with tons of seeds. Seventh food that we're going to talk about, which is a traditional food that people eat for Rosh Hashanah, is actually listed as a ram's head. But some people substitute a fish's head. But in this house, right, we use a fake fish and a fake ram's head.
Because we're vegan.
Why?
Because we're vegan. The reason that we eat a ram's head is it says so that we be a head and not a tail. We're going to talk about everyone's favorite
Oh, man.
ritual food of the new year, which is an apple.
Apple in the honey, have a very nice new year.
In this house, we dip apples in agave.
Dip the apple in the agave.
The reason that we eat apples dipped in honey is because we want to have a sweet new year. So actually, we can dip other things, like this is a challah. Look how much challah they've eaten. Why do you have to do that? That's how good Rosh Hashanah bread is.
Call it circular because it reminds us of the circle of life. That's it's
Why?
a circle of life. Every year once. And you know to live.
One of the other traditional things that we do on Rosh Hashanah is we blow this ancient instrument called a shofar.
We've come shofar, and I would say on this video, shofar, show good. Well, how do I not be associated with it?
This is a shofar. Shofar is an ancient instrument that was used actually as a battle cry announcement.
It's also the way that when the nation of Israel was first introduced to God, it was actually
With the sound of the
sound.
shofar. That's true. I know how to blow the shofar because I'm a trumpet player. And true story, my rabbi, when I was 13 years old, was new to our synagogue, and he had seen me play trumpet on the Arsenio Hall show, and he said, if she can play trumpet, she can blow shofar. That's how I started blowing shofar. There are 4 traditional calls that we do with the shofar. There is tekiah. There is shavarim. There's trua.
Also known as the Price is Right wheel.
And then there's tekiah gadola, which you don't need to do because it...
Impressive.
Happy New Year.
Wow. Whoa, okay. All right.
Do we have any children to go to RE? Now would be the time. As chair of the membership committee, it is my great pleasure to announce that we are welcoming 11 new members. We are welcoming Susie Holshoe, Andrea Houghton, Courtney Whitmer, Michael Whitmer, Gio Warner, Bethany McGill, Jimmy Clifton, Judy Wise, Misty Weston, Casey Weston, and Jackie Friend. We will now have a brief ceremony in recognition of this important event. Here in this fellowship, generations of people have gathered seeking a higher purpose and deeper life than they could find alone. We are grateful that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment to this faith community. We hope that as members of this fellowship, you will allow yourself to know and to be known, to minister and to be ministered unto, to love and to be loved by this congregation. We never really know what combination of fate and friendship and good luck it is that brings certain people together in this world for any purpose. But we believe that membership in the fellowship calls each of us here to celebrate the fate that has drawn us together, and to regard each one a spiritual friend and a potential teacher, even of occasional hard lessons. The relationships we form in our fellowship are based on needs of the soul, needs that render each of us vulnerable, and therefore reliant on each other's grace and goodness and generosity of spirit. As members, we pledge to be guardians of each other's spirits, to respect the ultimate privacy of each one's human struggle, and to believe in each one's inherent dignity.
It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You've been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so, you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. So I invite the new members that are here today to come forward at this time so we can formally welcome you to this community. The words for this ceremony will appear on the screen, and I ask that all the members read the congregational responses in unison.
Can they see their words?
They should have copies of their words.
Okay. Great.
Jimmy, have you don't have here so they can re-screen?
We don't have the words. Dan, we don't
Oh, you don't?
have words. No, for the screen.
All right, we'll fix that.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, Bethany, Gio. In what spirit do you come to us seeking membership?
We come here seeking to live our religion and all that we do. We come here to be challenged, to learn and to grow, and also to teach and to share. We come to bring to this fellowship the gifts of our presence, our voices, our actions.
Congregation. Have you, the members of this fellowship, made room for these people to enter into membership? And together?
Go ahead. All right, repeat after me. We, the members of UUFE, covenant to meet your presence with our own, to meet your thoughtful voice with listening hearts, and to meet your actions with meaningful opportunities. We will share with you the ways we live our religion, and learn from you how you live yours. Are these people here before us welcome into our fellowship? Yes, with great rejoicing. Yay!
And now, before you sit down, we have special gifts for you. For our new members, you receive a chalice pin that you can wear anytime, and a pocket guide to Unitarian Universalism. Welcome to UUFE as a member.
And now I think it's appropriate to sing a song, hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Let's stand if you will, willing and able. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rest in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rest in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and rose in the winter time. Thank you.
And now is the time in our service when we collect our offering. Today's cash donations will be shared with the NAACP of Elkhart program ad. May we generously give as we gratefully receive.
Two, three, and
בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונזכור ציפורים נודדות וילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין
otire, kama tobi bashana, bashana haba. Otire, kama tobi bashana, bashana haba. Soon the day will arrive when we will sing together and the distance will just disappear. And the children will smile in a world that's gotten better, so let's bring in a healthy new year. Wait and see what a world there can be, and we know that there's always tomorrow. Otire, kama tobi bashana, bashana. Kapot yadayim mul haor hanigar halavan. Anafal lebana tiflas kawar knofayim vehashemesh tizrach betocha. Otire, kama tobi bashana.
Each Rosh Hashanah, we are given the opportunity to start fresh with the ritual that they call tazlit, which Jews traditionally cast off their misdeeds by releasing breadcrumbs or pebbles into flowing water. They unburden themselves from the loads that have weighed on them for the past year. And they try to set positive intentions for the year ahead. This past year, each of us has carried immense weight, from challenges in our own lives to struggles around the world. With Rosh Hashanah upon us, we share a collective hope for renewal, so that we may dream together of a sweeter, brighter future. As Jews close the chapter on this past year and turn a new leaf for the new Jewish year, I invite you to join in setting a Tajlik intention. Please take a moment and get quiet and center yourself. And consider the following. Which burdens from the past year do you wish to cast off? And as you set down this load, what do you hope to make space for in your life? What makes you feel renewed and rejuvenated? What are your dreams and aspirations for the year ahead? May this be a year of equity, justice, and renewal for each of us and for all of humanity. I will now drop a stone into a bowl of water. May May all of our own burdens be released with that stone. And may we welcome in the flow of health, joy, and peace. Please remain seated for our next hymn, 352, Find the Stillness.
I'm not sure if she plays this all the way through or not, but we'll come in when it's time. She does. Fairly new.
I'd like for you to reflect on these words by Robert Weston. He's one of my favorite UU writers. There might have been other uses for this moment. There might have been other pleasures. There might have been rest. But there is something beyond all this which I must seek. And except I give it time and attention, it may never come to flower. It is a yearning for meaning, for which the tongue has yet no words. It is a quest for holiness. It is a quest for self-forgiveness, for all the things wherein I have failed myself in failing others. The light I have ignored, the plea of the Spirit rejected, the meaning still to be found, peace in a world of conflict, and still something more. It is something only sensed in moments of quiet and solitude, or in the shared meditations of others who seek Perhaps it is myself, now so buried under the demands and pressures of the world that it may only be found as I take time to listen for it, and to let it grow. So I begin my sermon with a story. Once upon a time, the Kaiser of Austria came to visit the Tsar of Russia. A state dinner with all the trimmings was served in his honor. One of the items on the menu was Kishke, otherwise known as stuffed durma. Now, real Kishke is nothing like the Kishke that is available in your local deli. Real Kishke is the intestines of an animal stuffed with flour and oil and all sorts of spices. Well, the Kishke was served and the Kaiser loved it. So he asked the Tsar to send his cooks the recipe. The Tsar graciously promised to do so, and after the Kaiser's departure, the Russian Jewish cooks wrote down the recipe and sent it via diplomatic mail to the Kaiser's chefs. The day finally came when the Kaiser was informed that he would be served Kishke. And he was so excited. And he sat down. He was very, very hungry. And out came the tray. And phew! Did it stink? It was bad. And the Kaiser took off the cover of his plate. And he took a bite. And he immediately spat out the piece. And he ordered the tray to be removed and the Kishke thrown away. Well, of course, an official letter of protest was immediately dispatched to the Tsar. How dare he send a recipe for such a vile concoction? The Tsar received the protest letter and summoned his cooking staff and demanded an explanation. You can imagine he was not happy. Initially, the imperial kitchen staff was perplexed and more than a little bit scared. They did not want to incur the Tsar's wrath. So they went over the recipe again and again, and they could not find a problem. Well, after quite some time, in a moment of inspiration, one of the kitchen staff exclaimed, "Oh, of course. We told him how to stuff and spice the Kishke, but we never realized that we needed to tell him to clean it out before he stuffed it." Now, this story was originally called Stuffed Durma, written by Rabbi Yosef Gordon. And it's a great parable for the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah. Considered the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the High Holy Days, or the days of awe, that culminate in 10 days on Yom Kippur. Now this year, Rosh Hashanah was observed between October 2nd and the 4th, so it's already passed, but I think this is a time of introspection and still relevant for us. There's much wisdom that we can glean from this holiday. So, again, it's a time of introspection, reviewing the past year, and identifying the ways that we have harmed others, the ways we've made mistakes, the ways we've not lived up to our own expectations and commitments, and other ways that we have failed to be our best selves. It's a time of reflection, a time to make amends, to improve our faults, and to return to right relationship with God, ourselves, and others. So what does our Stinky Kishke story have to do with Rosh Hashanah? Somebody said it. According to Rabbi Beth Zemsky, it has to do with the repentance, turning and returning, which is the key to these holidays. So oftentimes we make firm resolutions for the future as we near the days of awe. However, resolutions are best when they are prefaced by an honest taking stock in order to correct any areas in our behavior that need fixing. Otherwise, even with all the good intentions, the good spices in the world, a person may still remain a stinking Kishke if they are not honest in taking stock of themselves. And who wants to be a stinking Kishke? Not me. An honest taking stock in order to correct any areas in our behavior that need fixing. Like the Tsar's cooks, we often have the best of intentions to make delicious Kishke, but only and unless we truly examine ourselves. And as Rabbi Zemsky says, do the deep work of cleaning up our insides first, will we remain unchanged, stinky Kishke. But it's so hard, right? It is so hard to look in the mirror of our souls, and acknowledge our weaknesses, our failures, our mistakes. It is so much easier to stay at the surface level. It's much less painful. But Rabbi Zemsky stresses that the journey of transformation begins with the acknowledgement that we need to make it. The journey of transformation begins with the acknowledgement that we need to make it. That the journey of transformation itself is a spiritual necessity. So at the heart of Rosh Hashanah then is the concept of change, of growth and inward transformation. And as we all know, change is hard. It takes real work and commitment, and it takes courage to face our shortcomings and get real with ourselves. And ultimately, it takes intentionality. Most of us, myself included, value the idea of the necessity of change, but we don't necessarily want to do the sometimes painful and challenging inner work that makes transformation possible. We stubbornly and hard-headedly hang on to our stinky Kishke, even though we hate the smell. For example, about 6 years ago, I quit smoking. Now that really was stinky. And I had tried many times before. Intellectually, I knew I needed to, but I only half tried. Smoking was my stress reliever. It was calming. It was like an old friend I could count on. And my half attempts at making resolutions to stop failed miserably. I didn't really want to give it up. Well, a few months before quitting, I met my now wife, Erica. Our relationship blossomed quickly, and I fell totally head over heels for her. She was the perfect woman for me, and I wanted nothing more than to grow old with her. Now, I consider myself to be a fairly intelligent person, and so it occurred to me that if I continued to smoke, I would probably not have that opportunity to grow old at all, not even with her. And so that realization caused me to take a deeper look at myself and question why I actually needed to smoke. And after going into a deep meditation one day, I was able to enter this, I could only describe it as numinous space, where I could connect with my spirit and with the divine. My heart center felt open and I was at peace. And I gently, looked in the mirror of my soul, and the old war wounds and emotional baggage reflected back at me. Yes, this was the true reason why I found smoking so comforting. It actually helped me hang on to some deeply painful things that I was not yet ready to let go of. It was not pleasant and it was not easy, but I chose to let go of some of that baggage. It no longer served me. My life with Erica was more important to me than smoking. And the result was that without the burden of that baggage, I was able to quit cold turkey. So I think Rosh Hashanah asks us to return to the home of our soul, that numinous space that I had entered, to who we are at the core of our being. This is where we will find our true divine selves, untouched and unsullied by our human imperfections, our failures, our bad choices, our mistakes. When we are in this holy place, we are better situated to be gentle with ourselves, embrace our human flaws with grace instead of beating ourselves up. Here is the home of self-acceptance and self-love. It's a place for self-forgiveness and compassion. And I believe that when we can allow ourselves to be vulnerable in this space, that we can truly take stock of what it is we need to change. Otherwise, like me with my smoking, we tend to live as if our good intentions are sufficient, and true growth and transformation do not really occur. I want to share another personal story of my own taking of stock. I think many of you might identify with it. Some of you may know that I majored in music. I was a French horn player. I have a master's degree in music. During my freshman year of college, I was home on break and was studying with Ted Thayer, the principal horn of the National Symphony in D.C. And one day, during my lesson, Ted received a frantic phone call from the personnel manager of the Georgetown Symphony. She told him that they were in desperate need for a substitute horn player for a concert the following day, and did he know anyone who could fill in last minute. Ted looked at me and asked if I was interested. Fear, anxiety, and overwhelming excitement rose up in me. My first chance to play with a professional orchestra. I nodded, even as bile was beginning to rise in my throat and my stomach began to do flip-flops. And then I discovered what was on the program. Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring. Not an easy piece. And self-doubt reared its ugly head. I told Ted that I wasn't sure I could do it after all. I couldn't sight read such a difficult piece on a concert. I didn't want to embarrass myself. But Ted, being the gentle soul that he was, simply smiled and assured me that I would be fine. So I drove from my home in Northern Virginia up to D.C. the next day for the concert. My mind was whirling. Here I was, a college freshman with little experience and average talent. What made me think I could play with the big dogs? With these thoughts running through my mind, I took my place in the horn section, said a prayer, and resigned myself to fate. Then an amazing thing happened. I started playing. I didn't crack my first note. I was in tune. I held my own. And as the piece progressed, I noticed nods of approval from the other horn players. Hey, maybe I can do this after all. My confidence grew, and I began to soar. Never before, never after had I played so well. I had matched the other players note for note. I never missed an entrance. I never bobbled a note. I played so far over my head, so over my ability, that it was like I was another person. And who was this mystery person, and what did he do with the real me? After I came down from my high, I thought about what had occurred. Who was I to think I was good enough to perform professionally? I was just lucky. I had a good day. I wasn't really that talented. After all, I was nobody. I was just a student. So I rationalized my future as I drove back to school weeks later. I was going to be a band director, not a performer. I couldn't compete in that world. I wasn't good enough. I was inadequate. And that's just how it was. I was proud of the fact that I knew my greatest fear, inadequacy. And I was proud of the fact that I smugly patted myself on the back for being so self-aware. And that was a long time ago. And it wasn't until recent years and a lot of therapy that I realized that my greatest fear was not inadequacy. When I had played with that orchestra, I caught a glimpse of what it was like to be brilliant. And it frightened me. When I finally allowed myself to be vulnerable and honest with myself, I realized that my greatest fear, as Marianne Williamson puts it, was to be brilliant, talented, and successful. I was afraid to shine. I did not want to allow myself to reach the stars because I didn't think I deserved it. Why? It's pretty simple. I didn't love myself enough to think I was worthy of that dream. So what I've learned since then is that the greatest barrier to my personal growth was fear. Like most people, I used to make resolutions that I would do this thing or that. I was going to lose weight. I was going to be more spontaneous and outgoing. I was going to get back into music again. I had many good intentions and high expectations of myself, but they all fell short. I had not yet done the hard work of taking stock of what was really at the core of my problems and what was holding me back from achieving the life that I wanted. I did not realize I had to clean out my Kishke, my fear, first. However, when I was finally able to do that inner work, I was able to love myself enough to let go of that fear and begin to live into who I was meant to be. So this then is what I would like to leave you with. Take some time over the next week. Reflect. Return to that home of your soul. Go deep if you're able. And with all the love you can muster for your imperfect, stinky self, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Gently, compassionately take stock. Ask yourself, what is it that you need to let go of or change so that you can transform yourself and your relationships with others? Can you reimagine your life unencumbered by your stinky Kishke? May it be so. And Lashana Tova. Happy New Year. I invite you to join me as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you. And go in peace.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. אני מאחל לכם שנה טובה ורגועה, שתזכו לעוד שנה, תזכו בלוטו 8 פעמים. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. וים בבחורות 2 לפחות, ועם אחת מהם אלך לשתות. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. שהריבטת לא תאכל אתכם, בטח לא את אחותכם, שלא תדרסו בכביש, תעשנו רק חשיש. בהמות. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. שנה טובה. We know what's wrong, but who's to say it's right? If you don't fight, you be a punk all your life. So we stay strapped, just to let brothers know. If you're on a fast kid, you can die slow. Check it. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova.
Câu 8 bù xuống.